The title of this story is The Tussle. His mother wanted him to marry her best friend's daughter. They had been friends for several years, and they had gone through a lot together. When she was sick to the point of death, many years before, it was her friend that fought for her with everything she had. It was like the friendship between David and Jonathan. Their souls had merged into one. The mother's friend also had a fanatical reason to agree to the plan. His mother practically paid her friend's ransom fees when she was kidnapped years before. Everyone had given up on her, but his mother didn't. His mother turned out to be right. Her friend was not dead, and the kidnappers returned her hale and hearty once the ransom was paid. Their friendship was more like a knitting of the soul. It was extraordinary, and all and sundry came to celebrate it. At first he was flattered that the pretty lady was offered to him. It was surreal, and as a guy, it was very helpful to have such a soft landing. He didn't have to go through a series of heartbreaks and rejections like some of his friends. He knew where he was going. His mother would say, "My friend and your wife will be coming over to pay us a visit today. You must have your bath and just make a cameo appearance. Let her see you all handsome and go back home dreaming of you." It was fun. The seed was successfully planted in his heart, and it germinated. He was very sure he would marry her, and so was she. When her mother told her he was her chosen husband, she wanted to resist. Why would anybody pick a husband for her in this day and age? She was not crippled, blind, or nursing any infirmity. She shouldn't be restricted. She should be allowed to make her own choice. Though her mother had been saying it since she was a teenager, she felt it was just wishful thinking. She faced her studies and prayed that her own husband would come in due time. They were admitted to different universities, and both of them lived their lives as they wanted to. The problem was the seed had a strong hold on him, and he never really wanted to displease his mother. The same applied to her. They both had relationships but steered clear of anything that would bring shame to either family. The cockerel their mothers groomed over the years at the back of their minds always crowed when they were going too far. They both graduated from the university without any entanglements and with good grades. As soon as they graduated, their parents had a meeting. It was time to step up the plan, rev things up. His mother told him he must start seeing her. Her mother told her the same. They were both comely, educated, and of the same social class. They went to the movies, the park, the beach, and other recreation centers. Perhaps it was written, perhaps it was by sheer happenstance. They both fell in love. They made love for the first time on her 23rd birthday celebration. The crowd had come and gone, and their parents were discussing politics when he pulled her away from the sitting room. She followed him to her own room in her parents' house. He had that freedom since he was young. They were like siblings. He kissed her, she kissed him. The cock crowed 3 times. She was sure she would marry him, and so was he. He was posted to a state in the South for his NYC. Though he studied agriculture, his passion had always been broadcasting. He went to the state's television station for auditioning. He was taken in a flash. His command of the English diction was superb. More than that, his delivery style was unique. He was born to read the news. She was also posted to a state in the South for NYC. It was more of a confirmation that the weavers of fate had them in mind. Her NYC post was a mere 50 minutes drive from his location. After the initial orientation week, she was posted to a school. She made sure she was in his flat in the neighboring state every Friday. She left for her place of primary assignment on Sunday evening or early hours of Sunday morning. They were as good as married and lived like that. One day when he was in the final month, he left the office after reading the late-night bulletin and found himself in a traffic gridlock at around 11:30 p.m. All the vehicles were at a standstill. He alighted and decided to walk home. His apartment was like 20 minutes walk from the television station. He was determined to get home early and catch some sleep. He trudged on, defying the noise around him. Just as he got to a T-junction very close to his house, he heard a song. The song had been sung in his mother's church for years, but at that moment, the song carried a strange spirit that made him shiver. He turned to look at the source of the song, and he saw an open-air crusade around. He had heard the noise from the place from afar, and he tuned out, but the song was too compelling to ignore. He turned around and walked into the crusade ground. The pastor ministering made an altar call. Do you want to give your life to Jesus? Come now. Do you want to do away with the yoke of life? Come to Jesus now. He didn't have any yoke that he knew of, neither was he bearing any burden. Yet he found himself walking towards a wooden altar. It just felt natural and right to give his life to Jesus at that moment. The minister led them to Christ and he became born again. It was the happiest season of his life. Counselors came and collected his details. He willingly gave them. There was a longing in his heart that could not be sated by mere words. The following Friday, his girlfriend came to his apartment as usual. He found himself unwilling to sleep with her, as he had usually done. He couldn't believe it. He once promised himself after deflowering his girlfriend that if he ended up not marrying her, the man that did so will have to work very hard for many years to equal and surpass the number of times he had slept with her while they were dating. She came on to him. He resisted her. She didn't get it. What had she done? She had been away from him for 1 week, and she felt hurt that he didn't want to sleep with her. He told her he had given his life to Christ. She laughed. So what? He didn't know how to explain to her that he just didn't have the urge to do anything like that with her anymore. She was infuriated. Are you dumping me? Be man enough and say so. He knew it was a sexual frustration that was speaking through her. He ignored her. The next day, she packed her bag and left. He neither came to her during the night nor tried to make amends with her as she packed. They had had misunderstandings before, but it was never that gruesome. She left without saying a word. She called her mother and reported the developments to her. His mother called him. What did I just hear? You, this child, what has entered into you? He didn't know how to explain it. He had a sudden distaste for sleeping with her. Perhaps it was a momentary thing. He just didn't feel like having sex at the moment. He didn't understand why it should be such a big deal. He was a grown man. He had a right to live his own life. What had he done wrong? Christmas break came and he went home. His mother gave him the cold shoulder right from the moment he got home. He tried to speak with her, appeal to her. His mother said before she could be happy, he must go and make peace with her friend's daughter. The more all the women, as his mother, his mother's friend, and his girlfriend, were insisting on freezing him out until he did their will, the more he was determined not to do it. It felt as if they were determined to control his life. He used to think he was powerless without their support, but not anymore. The break was for 2 weeks. When his mother realized he would rather go to church in the evening than go to her friend's house to see his girlfriend, his mother gave him an ultimatum. It is either you do my will or leave my house. He packed his bags and he traveled straight back to the South. He celebrated Christmas and New Year with the local church he was attending. On January 3rd of the following year, she showed up at his apartment. It seemed they realized the initial strategy of force didn't work and they decided to toe another line. He welcomed her. She came with fried meat, cake and other provisions from his mother. She knelt down and apologized to him. I went too far. I am very sorry. My mother has scolded me and so has your mother. Please stop fighting us. He accepted her apology. She went to the market, cooked a very delicious meal. He laid his hands on the food and blessed it. He ate. When it was 4 p.m., he told her she will have to leave. I'm a Christian now, please. I don't want people to think I'm a hypocrite. I really want to practice what I preach. If you leave now, you'll be at your station before 6 p.m. Her countenance changed immediately. Are you sleeping with someone else? Are you getting it from anybody else? How can a sexually active man suddenly start behaving as if he was a virgin or a novice. I don't understand. I'm sleeping here tonight. He didn't argue with her. Later that evening, he called his fellowship leader and explained his ordeal. The fellowship leader invited him over to his own room. Sleep here, brother. Let her have your apartment, and please pray that the Holy Spirit will intervene in this matter. By the time he got home the next morning, she was gone. He knew trouble was brewing, but he didn't care. 2 months later, a lady was also posted to the television station as a newscaster. She was beautiful, a Christian, and she made his heart sing. She studied English and they had an unbelievable chemistry, both on and off the set. His heart longed for this lady, but where will he take her to? He knew if he truly loved her, he shouldn't drag her into the middle of a war. The battle was raging, and the 3 women would take it out on her. She loved him. It wasn't just about the chemistry. He was a Christian, a good listener, and he was very patient. She knew he had intention. It was very obvious, but he didn't express his intention. What was the problem? He eventually explained his dilemma to her. As a friend, he sought her advice. His explanation put her mind at rest. At least she confirmed that her instincts were right, and he wanted him. There were just many adversaries. They finished serving and he got retained in the TV station. She got a job at another TV station in Lagos. She approached the brother in jeans and t-shirts. He was the news producer at her new place of employment. I love him, but I don't know if I should walk away or if he will get out of this in one piece. The brother in jeans and t-shirt told her within a month she shall have her answers, one way or the other. 2 weeks later, the TV station she was working with employed him as a news anchor. He didn't even apply. He applied for a job at another TV station in Lagos and traveled to the station for auditioning. The head of presentation at the station referred him to the TV station and he was employed immediately. That same month, the news broke that his ex-girlfriend had gotten pregnant for a businessman in the South. She did her traditional and court wedding a few months later. His mother had no option but to move on from the episode. The siege was over. They got married a month later. P.S. This event happened in 2014. He is now a news anchor with one of the biggest TV stations in Nigeria. She now owns her own makeup and makeover studio. They are blessed with a daughter. Is there a contention over your marital destiny? Are you hanging on by the threads and you cannot say if there is a future in your relationship or if it's just a waste of time? Are you single and ready but find yourself without a spouse? God settled Ruth and turned Naomi from Mara to sweetness. I speak to the north and south winds on your behalf. I command your marital destiny to be settled. Husbands, locate your wives. Wives, be found by your husbands. Let there be clarity of purpose. I decree that the lines have fallen onto you in pleasant places. Whatever might have been the reason behind your delay, I command them to give way now. I welcome the testimonies. The wedding bells are ringing. Amen. The end. For more stories like this and information about the ministry, please visit www.bengawemimo.com. God bless you.